Hi, folks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining, and welcome to this webinar with Uplisting and Dtravel. I think, Quinn, are you going to take it away?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Vince. And hello, everyone. We are really excited for this webinar today, which is being hosted by Vince and Uplisting. We'll be recording this webinar too, so stay tuned at some point after this. We'll be sending out the recording. Some really quick intros. We've got Cynthia here. Cynthia's the Dtravel head of demand growth, and she's actually an Uplisting customer. So she'll be speaking a little bit about her experience. We also have Vince, who's the Uplisting CEO. He's going to be chatting more about how you can leverage Uplisting to help manage your short-term rentals and start growing your Dtravel powered business. And then I'm Quinn. I'm the head of product. I'll be the MC here today, and I'll also help field questions at the end of this webinar. So yeah, like I said, we're really excited about this partnership with Uplisting. They're one of the industry's leading solutions for property and channel management, and we couldn't be more excited to be doing this webinar with them. They're actually expected to do like 30 million this year in direct bookings. Yeah. So we're really lucky to have these experts here to help share their experience about how to help you drive more direct bookings. So with that, I'll pass this over to Cynthia so she can talk a little bit more about her experience as a customer.
Awesome. Thanks, Quinn. As Quinn mentioned, I'm Cynthia from the Dtravel team. I've been a host myself since 2014, always loved hosting. It's been a passion of mine for a long time. So Dtravel is bringing together two passions of mine, Web3 and vacation rental space. And I recently started using Uplisting for my own listings, and I wanted to share a few things I really love personally about their platform and their tool. So when I signed up, the process was so seamless and easy. It literally only took me a few minutes to connect my listings. And I also love that they didn't have a credit card requirement up front, so that I could try it right away. It's also super easy to use. Uplisting offers webinars like this all the time, and they also have really great customer support. They always have people reaching out asking, hey, can I help you? Is there anything that we can answer for you? But honestly, the experience is so easy that you don't really need anybody to guide you through it. And they also have really amazing help articles. And then finally, obviously, because this is a direct booking webinar, one of the things I really, really like is that they have a lot of tools and automations to help you grow your direct booking business. So for example, they have a guest ID and then an e-rental check-in agreement so that you can actually get to know your guests if you're going to be booking directly with them. So I think those things really, really help you in growing your direct business. And Uplisting is offering a special promo just for Dtravel hosts. So I'll turn it over to Vince to share more and then also dive into how the Uplisting platform works.
Thanks, folks. So I'll thanks again for joining the webinar. I'm going to give a brief introduction to Uplisting with a few slides, and then I'm going to jump into a bit of a demo just to show you, kind of as a beginner, how easy it is to get started and how simple it is to connect to Dtravel and start your direct booking journey. And as Sin mentioned, we have a special discount of 50% for the first 6 months if you sign up to Uplisting from Dtravel. So I'll jump in. So you can see my screen. First of all, any questions, feel free to ask them. You should see a little question tab in the bottom right-hand corner, and we'll leave time at the end to answer any of those questions. For those of you who don't know Uplisting, we are an Airbnb preferred software partner and channel manager. We're built specifically for short-term rental businesses. We're also one of the few solutions to offer Google vacation rentals and, of course, Dtravel. So everything we do is kind of built around helping you confidently grow your business. We focus on reliability, user experience. Uplisting is designed to be really easy to use, which is so important. We kind of want your business to be an autopilot. So when you're when you're growing your business, you're thinking about direct bookings, you're going across multiple booking sites. Automation is really key. You can't be changing prices on Airbnb and then going to Dtravel and then going to booking.com and managing availability, all that kind of stuff. Like fundamentally, Uplisting as a channel manager is there to automate that whole process. So you're ensuring that your prices are accurate across each channel, availability is accurate across each channel, and then all bookings are synced into Uplisting's kind of multi-calendar. So you kind of lead your day-to-day operation is directly in Uplisting, and we do the kind of the hard work or the boring work maybe in the background automatically for you. We have a number of automation tools and features, and I'll share some of those on the live demo. There's certain ones there that are really applicable to direct bookings. So Sin mentioned the guest identity verification. So if we're thinking about direct bookings, concerns that you as hosts often have are we don't have Airbnb provides insurance, Airbnb verifies the guest is who they say they are. There might be a rental agreement that Airbnb has, whatever. So there's lots of your concerns around how to do direct bookings are for the most part resolved through Uplisting through our features. And again, I'll show you how those work in a minute. We have members all over the world, members ranging from 1 to over 400 properties. We've got members who started off on Uplisting with 5 properties and have grown to over 400. We kind of enjoy, being on that journey with you all and building features and improvements as we all kind of grow and as the market itself develops. And just a few reasons why members love Uplisting. So really easy to use, don't overcomplicate things, really focus on customer support so that we're ensuring you're getting all the help that you need. Really reliable syncing, just fundamental to being able to grow your business is just being able to trust Uplisting to do what we should be doing. Central hub to manage all your bookings, and I'll show you this in the demo. Automate and streamline guest communications, a huge time saver. And then a click and play direct booking website, and of course with Dtravel, so it all works and syncs in through Uplisting. Quinn mentioned our direct booking, so we have a number of kind of direct booking tools within Uplisting. We'll process around $30 million this year. It's kind of grown from around 3 at the start of COVID when we kind of first started thinking about direct bookings. And Dtravel opens up a whole new world for direct bookings for that we can't cater for within Uplisting. And then, as I mentioned, really easy to get started. It's a free trial, no credit card, have a play around, make sure you enjoy what we have and are getting value from Uplisting. It's really simple to get onboarded, and I'll show you on the live demo here. And then you can connect to Dtravel really quickly, and Dtravel will import everything from Uplisting so that your Dtravel website's good to go within a few minutes. Alrighty, so I'm going to share my screen now and do a quick demo. I'm going to show you a few features that we have that are helpful, and as I said, I'm more than happy to answer any questions towards the end. Two seconds. Okay, so you can see my screen. This is kind of what you're presented with after you sign up for an account. Again, as I mentioned, really important to keep things as simple as possible and allow you to get started really quickly. So the first thing you do is just click on Airbnb. This brings you to the Airbnb website where you're logged into your Airbnb account. And you just click allow, and Uplisting will import all of your properties from Airbnb within a few seconds. So this is an account with 5 properties in Airbnb, and Uplisting is now importing these properties into Uplisting. Done. So what we've done here is imported all of the content. So if we look here, we can see all of your content like property name, your number of bedrooms, all that kind of basic information, pricing, availability, and your photos. in a second. It'll import all your photos in the background. Then you can immediately you can take this and take your API key over to Dtravel, import this content into Dtravel for your Dtravel direct booking website. So as quickly as that, you can get started with Dtravel. This is a view of the calendar. So these are 5 properties, and on Uplisting, you can control or view and hide certain features here. So we can see all of our prices directly here in the calendar. We can see our Airbnb prices, which can be marked up or marked down, booking.com prices, and so on. You can show and hide these directly in the calendar. Your Dtravel prices will be these spot rates, so 504, for example, and Airbnb will 580. So the benefit here is that you can afford to charge lower prices for direct bookings, which is more enticing to guests, obviously. So they'd rather pay less for the same property than booking directly on a booking site like Airbnb. You can mark this unavailable here in the calendar, just like this. So I can just drag and mark it unavailable. And that will then block off your calendars on Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, and your Dtravel direct booking website as well. You can also bulk update prices. So bulk update rates, for example, I can say every Sunday for the next few weeks for these 2 properties, set that to $100. That will sync out again to all the connected booking sites as well as Dtravel. And to show you some of these pre-arrival automations or kind of features that can help you be more comfortable with direct bookings, I'll create a direct booking here on the Uplisting calendar. And this will be exactly the same as a booking coming from Dtravel. So say we have, prices, number of guests. I'll put in my name as the guest. I'll put in my email address because Uplisting has a unified inbox for all guest messaging as well as automated messages, so you can send messages to guests automatically. And I'm just going to confirm this. Okay, this booking has been created, and one thing I need to do before I continue is just connect my Stripe account to these properties. Okay, I'll refresh. And you can see that there are a few features here. So a few statuses here in the reservation. I'm going to enable a few more of our features so that we can go through all of the pre-arrival tasks that we have here. So we have guest ID, we have security deposit collection, and we have the e-sign rental agreement. And I'm just going to enable this here. So on Uplisting, now this booking has a number of statuses, and I want my guests to verify their ID so that I know who they are, that I'm comfortable with them staying in my property. I want them to pay a deposit for security reasons, so if they do break something that I can claim some money off that. And I want them to sign a rental agreement just for worst case scenario. They've signed my terms and conditions effectively. So every booking and Uplisting has this guest booking confirmation page. And it's a unique link that you can add in your automated messages or send to your guests manually. And they'll be able to perform some of these tasks that you want them to do. So I'll show you the rental agreement, for example, is all displayed here. Within the rental agreement, you can insert dynamic content. So the guest name, the property name, location, dates, whatever it is, can automatically be populated from Uplisting really easily. So it's all done. It's all relevant to that particular guest and that property. So as a guest, I can come in and just sign my rental agreement like this. Or if I'm on my phone, I can use my finger. And I can pay for my deposit. So I'm going to enter a credit card to pay for my deposit. And the way this works is Uplisting will charge the deposit 24 hours before check-in. Okay, sorry, they're just using a Stripe test card, but it's not working on a production account. But I guess can enter their credit card, and Uplisting will take a deposit 24 hours before check-in. We'll do a hold on their card, so a pre-authorization, which is great because you won't get charged for that. And depending on the length of the booking, Uplisting will re-hold the card for the duration so that you can you won't be charged any transaction fees from Stripe, and you can take payment if necessary. If you don't need to take payment, which is the majority of bookings, then the money is just released automatically back to the guest. And then I can go through and do my verification. This is guest identity is powered by Stripe, so it's if you think of Airbnb, they verify the guest by uploading ID. Very similar functionality here. But the difference is that you can actually view the IDs in Uplisting. So you get to view the driver license or the passport, whatever it is, directly on Uplisting. And you can see that the guest name matches the reservation, for example. So it's a bit more involved than just Airbnb saying that we have verified this guest. I won't go through this process now, but it's really user-friendly, very simple to use, and again, powered by Stripe. So it's always going to be good. If I go back to my reservation now, I'll see that my rental agreement has been signed. So I can click here and I can view this rental agreement. You can upload your own logo and it's date stamped. And this is all the content on my agreement. And then at the very bottom, I can see my guest signature. So this is another way to be protected for direct bookings through rental agreements. I mentioned security deposits. We also have partnerships with Superhog and Safely, who do insurance separate to they're separate solutions that can do insurance for you, where you either pay them per booking or the guest pays for the insurance. Again, protect you from the direct booking guests. So every reservation then has a message tab. So one of our most popular features is our unified inbox. So every message coming from an Airbnb guest, an Uplisting guest, a Dtravel guest, Booking.com, Vrbo, Google, whoever it is, all of the messages flow into the Uplisting inbox here. And I can view and respond to those messages directly. So this is an example of an Airbnb message thread. And this is sending a message here is just like sending it through Airbnb. Similar with other platforms, but I, as a guest, I can, or as a host, I can come in here and say something like, "Hi Vincent, looking forward to your stay." Send that message, and the guest will get an email, and then they can respond to that email, and that will appear on the Uplisting inbox. The automated messages is one of the most popular features. It's really helpful to streamline your business. If you're getting bookings in from multiple channels, you really want to be, and as you grow and get more and more guests, you want to automate the communication as much as possible. Automated guest messages kind of ensure that your guests are receiving the information they need to receive at the right time, so that they don't have to request or message you manually to ask for, how do I check in, how do I do this, what's the situation here. So with automated guest messages, you can automate that whole process and really reduce your manual guest message sending. So an example here is my check-in instructions. Where are they? So this one, for example, this is a specific message that goes to last minute bookings. So I can say, hey, thanks for booking, guest name, here's listing address, which is again all populated automatically through the property and the guest information. I can insert more message tags, and I can schedule this message to say send 1 day before arrival. And then I can add conditions. So this is a really powerful functionality where I can say, don't send this message unless the guest has paid their deposit, unless they have verified their ID, unless they have signed the rental agreement. Whatever those features you use, you can require the guest to do those things before they get your check-in instructions. You can also use these messages to chase guests. So if you do require a rental agreement, for example, and the guest has not provided that, you can have messages that say, that might go out 5 days before check-in to say reminder to verify your ID or to sign the rental agreement, and they haven't done it after 4 days. Again, it can say reminder to sign the rental agreement and so on. So it does an automatic chasing that you may have to do manually currently. We also have a kind of insights here, so you can see what the value of your bookings are, and you can see how you're tracking towards certain goals. So you can see what occupancy rate. These are all 0 because they haven't. These are just test properties. But as you kind of add more reservations and as it's real life data, you can get really insightful information from there. There's loads of other features here I can go through, but I think I saw a few questions come in, so maybe I'll spend some time looking at these.
Yeah, Vince, that was awesome. As someone who's done many live demos, I'm very impressed by how well the product performed. Usually the best way for me to find bugs is to do live
tell me about it.
I've learned.
Tell me about it.
So that was great. That was very smooth.
Awesome. So yeah, I think sorry, go on, Quinn.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that there's a couple good questions that have come in through the comments. I think Cynthia's answered the majority of them, but one question I think came out is, what would you say is like the ideal channel mix that a host should be having between like their OTAs and direct bookings, and what would you recommend is like the right channel mix?
Yeah, really good question. It's a hard one to measure. I think there's one thing to point out straight away is that you're very unlikely to replace the booking sites with direct bookings only. So just be aware of that as you're kind of getting started here. It definitely can be done. It takes time. You have to build up your database of guests. It's an investment. It's a hard thing to do. It's very, very hard for somebody to do that. So what I would say is you need to be on Airbnb 100%. Airbnb are about 60% of bookings on Uplisting. They're a huge channel. The way that I see it and the way that we picture it with Uplisting is be on Airbnb, specifically, number one, be on Airbnb. Vrbo is a great channel in the US specifically as well for short-term rentals. Booking.com is fantastic in the UK and Europe. More so, Google Vacation Rentals is kind of a growing channel. So it's looking good. And I think they'll become much larger over time. So you need to be on those channels and then start taking bookings away from those channels as you go through your journey. So you definitely be on them. Monitor how many bookings are coming from each channel, and then try and target more direct bookings. And that there's lots of ways you can target direct bookings. Like some of the lowest hanging fruit is your previous guest. So if a guest books with you through Airbnb, the next time they book, that has to be coming directly. So you need to have like communication in place there to make them aware that you have a direct booking platform, and then to encourage them to book directly through marketing material, whatever it is, the next time they want to stay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you're not replacing the channels is I think the important point there, but you can definitely make a dent.
And then another question I think that's come up, or a theme of this one is, how do you justify like the cost of your software? As someone who's been in this world for many years, I think what I've always seen is you can save time and money with tools with products like Uplisting.
Yeah.
But how do you justify that cost for someone that's maybe thinking twice about spending the money on something like Uplisting?
Yeah, good question. I think there's just so much functionality and automation that Uplisting can do for your business that cost is just it shouldn't be an issue. I don't think. I think like if you're looking at you've got one property on Airbnb, then you don't really need software like Uplisting. If you have one property on Airbnb and Vrbo and Dtravel as well, then it becomes really painful to actually just, even at that level, to go in and change prices in each individual platform is painful, and you're going to lose that reservation. So if you're and you're going to lose money. So if you've forgotten to update your prices on Vrbo and they're now lower than what you wanted them to be, either you accept that reservation at a lower value, or you get penalized by Vrbo and you don't get more bookings. So it's like that consistent syncing across platforms at a really fundamental very basic part of what Uplisting. Well, it's not basic, but it's that's kind of the default. That's the fundamental thing that we do is sync across different booking sites. That alone is worth it, in my opinion.
And I think the beauty, well, many beauties with uplisting, but one of them being, which we've already talked about, the 14-day free trial to actually see and feel these benefits firsthand before, making the decision if it's the right product for you.
Yeah, like, and if you're not using software, like we have some of our people sign up with 20 properties and they don't use software, and they're just like the best possible scenario for us, because they're just in complete awe of what can actually be automated. Like you're saving a lot of money, a lot of potential job roles just through using software like Uplisting. But yeah, so you could have 100%. A feel for it. It should really speak for itself once you get it dialed in. And then other reasons. If you're on Booking.com and you on Airbnb now, if you can't accept a booking because you haven't updated your prices or availability properly, you're gonna have to pay for that. You're penalized financially. So having software like Uplisting is just going to remove that that problem entirely.
Plus, like you already said, it also gets you access to Google, which I don't think anyone can do on their own. They need to work with a partner like Uplisting.
You have to be on software like Uplisting for Google. Yeah, for sure. But it's all the automation features, the guest messaging alone. If you have those dialed in and you're not spending a lot of time on responding to guest messages, it's a huge time saver. It's one of our most popular features. It's like we send tens of thousands of automated messages a day.
Wow. I don't know if any other questions have come up, but I've got a couple questions for you, Vince. Something that came up from a Dtravel user this week. Someone who wanted to just set different prices on different channels.
Yeah.
Is this possible on Uplisting to customize like what prices are showing on Airbnb versus Booking.com versus say Dtravel?
Yeah. So what we have here on the calendar, you can see Spot Rate, Airbnb, Booking.com, Google, Vrbo. You can see these are all different prices, or some of them are different. And that's because you can set the markup for each channel. So we have a number here we have these Airbnb ones here. If I go into the automate and markup, channel markup, I can come in here and say change Airbnb to be 20%, Booking.com to be 25%. And then on the Uplisting calendar, those prices will display automatically. And as soon as you change the price here, if you set a price here, say $500, this is what you want to earn for that night. Uplisting will send the marked up prices to Airbnb and Booking.com automatically. So really, one of the big challenges with being across multiple channels and multiple booking sites is each one has different commission structures. So you really want to be ensuring that the prices set on each platform is going to result in the same revenue for you, if not more. So it's a very important part of being across multiple booking sites is that pricing, that service fee consideration. So what with Dtravel, the price will be $500. So you want to kind of look at this as set your direct booking prices. This is what you want to earn from a direct booking as your spot rate, and then mark up the other channels accordingly.
Awesome, thank you.
That's all the question.
Yeah, I was just going to say we seem to have another question. One concerning, do the channels available through Uplisting apply to countries like Italy?
Yeah. All those booking sites are global. Like the Google Vacation Rentals platform is really cool because you'll be displayed on Google Search and on Google Travel, which is like if you've ever searched for a flight on Google, it's part of that infrastructure, and also on Google Maps. So we have got customers in Italy, we've got customers all over Europe, and if you go into the kind of Google Search, Google Maps, you'll see you'll see the properties up here. So I'll just jump into a quick. Show you an example of what that looks like on Google quickly. So this is the Google kind of interface. And if you're on, say this on Google Maps, for example, this is, you search for a property in London, whatever it is, and it'll give you, you put in the date range and it'll give you all these options. your uplisting property will appear here with the price, synced over from uplisting. So it's all, and then the guests can click on this and book directly through uplisting then. So it's an advantage to be on, not as Quinn mentioned, you can't be on Google unless you're connected to software like Uplisting. So you're already at an advantage to people who are not using software like Uplisting, because you're going to be appearing in these search results.
And could you add your Dtravel powered direct booking site to the Google listing?
Not to this vacation rental functionality, but you can definitely add your Dtravel website through Google My Business or something like that, which will appear on Google, but it won't appear. The prices won't appear. But we can definitely have a chat about that in terms of like integration and see if we can provide Dtravel direct booking websites.
We've got another question from Herson. Herson, I obviously can't see you, but great to see that you joined this webinar. Hope you're doing well. He asked about the difference between uplisting and HostWay. I can try to answer this a little bit. I think it'd also obviously be good, Vince, to get your take on this. I think one of the biggest differences is how you can actually first interact with either one. Like uplisting has the 14-day free trial with the Airbnb read-only, so you can actually sync your Airbnb account. And uplisting's not going to change anything on your Airbnb account during that 14-day free trial. HostWay, another great option. The entry to get into HostWay is you have to first set up a demo, and there is no necessarily free trial. But also, I think it's maybe less about uplisting versus HostWay. I think there's other options out there. I think there's a lot of good ones, and whatever works the best for you. I think it's so dependent on like the actual business makeup and what your goals are and where you are, how important customer support is, how important free trials are, what channels you want to be. I think there's so many factors that it's really up to the host. There's no easy answer to that, but that's my take.
Yeah, look, HostWay is a great platform. There's a lot of software out there like Uplisting. There's a lot of really bad software because I won't go into why that happens, but it happens often. But HostWay is definitely not one of those. They are a very good platform. And as Quinn said, it's more about meeting your needs. One of the reasons why there is so much software out there is because nobody has solved the problem for all property managers or all hosts. It's just not, it's really difficult. You guys work in so many different ways and have different, so you might be doing rental arbitrage, you might be an investor, you might own all the properties, you might be doing property management, so you might be a property manager managing properties on behalf of, on clients, for example. All of those have different needs and ways of working. So it's impossible for any platform, at least yet, to kind of cover all bases. So it's very much about what your requirements are. At Uplisting, what we say is we work really closely with our members. We kind of feel really invested in making sure that you're getting the most out of Uplisting. And it's all about, providing value. We have a target market, which is growing property managers. That's who we tailor for, and everything we build is focused on people like that. So it's just it's about preferences and usability perhaps is one. Some feedback we would get is that Uplisting might be a bit easier to use than HostWay, but generally HostWay is a very good platform, so I won't say anything negative about them.
Awesome. Any other questions? I think we've covered everything in the chat.
Yeah.
If any other questions come up after this, sorry, go ahead, Vince.
All good. I was
just a little sketchy.
Sorry. It should be on hardwire. I was going to say, direct bookings and generally thinking about how to get direct bookings. I mentioned the lowest hanging fruit is your previous guest. That's who you should be getting started with. And if you're thinking about your direct booking journey, it is a journey. You have to learn about it. There's a bit of there's strategy behind it. Number one thing you can do is just start collecting guest information, so their email address, phone number, so that you can start marketing them. At least building up that database, and through Uplisting, like one thing that we have here is any Airbnb reservation. If I can get an example, I don't think I can, but an Airbnb reservation on that guest booking confirmation page that I showed to you, we will ask Airbnb and Booking.com guests to provide their real email address, so you can then use that in marketing, because Airbnb obviously just provides you with a temporary email address that isn't helpful. So thinking about direct bookings, number one is to collect as much guest information as possible, and then start leading those towards your Dtravel direct booking website, and doing marketing, promotions, whatever it is. It's those repeat guests that should be the majority of your direct bookings.
Beautiful. Looks like Valentina is typing a question. I guess we're a little bit over time, so we can wait for this question.
Well, yeah, why not
If
pay
there's
as you
any
go?
questions after this, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. The pay as you go. It's just not the way it's not a very popular request. Very simply, people prefer to pay a monthly fee. Our prices are generally much more affordable than other platforms in the market, and people prefer to pay a flat fee than pay as you go. So we don't want to be, if you're connecting to Airbnb, it's not in our interest, or it's not in your interest, for us to be charging you 3% of your Airbnb reservation, which is what a lot of other platforms do. So we think it's more affordable and fairer pricing for you to charge you on a per monthly basis, flat fee per month. That's the rationale.
Makes a lot of sense. I think we can probably wrap this up unless anyone else has any questions. But this was great. Thank you very much, Vince. I think Quinn's internet cut out, so he got dropped from the call.
Just in time. Okay. Thanks so much for everybody for joining. Any questions, just reach out. As I mentioned, free trial. We have 24/7 customer support. So if you have any questions, please just reach out. And we have weekly webinars as well on kind of getting set up with Uplisting. But otherwise, thanks again for having me and for the time. I appreciate it.
No, this is great. Thank you. And we can send out the recording to everyone who registered for the webinar afterwards. Appreciate your time, Vince. Thank you.
Super. My pleasure. Take care, folks. See you, James.